Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam. Good morning. Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Today is Tuesday, Testimony Tuesday, May 24th, 2022. I got it not only about a good month now, but actually got it without any hesitation. Good morning. It is Testimony Tuesday. We are here today to check in just me this morning. That gives me the ability to go in the Java Cafe and see who's in the room without rushing with the guest. We do have a guest coming tomorrow morning. I wanted to mention that now. You've heard me talk about the Java with Jimmy on the waterfront. And so the team that is a part of that, sponsoring it, people from the ICA, those that are doing things on the seaport will be with us tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. But it's just me today, so I have the ability to go in without being rushed and say good morning to Dow Drumright, listening in from Tennessee. Good to see you in the Java Cafe, as always, sir. Isaiah, Title Team DJs in the building. Good to see you. Lasagna, good morning. Yes, I eat pizza. Now, what I have on my pizza, and do I specifically like thin crust and a few other like truffle and stuff? Yes. So don't be trying to call me out. Asia, good morning. Good to see you in the room. Charlotte as well. Good to see you in the room. I know many of you are getting back to work and can't get in as much as you used to about a year or some months ago. So it's good to see you guys in the room. Absolutely. I made it in time. Asia says she made it in time for praise and worship this morning. Kelly, good morning. Good to see you. Good to see you. Pastor Marion, good morning. Good to see you in the room as well. Sister Debbie, good morning. Good to see you in the room. Naraki, beautiful. Good morning. Good to see you in the room. Heidi, good morning. Good to see you in the room as well. Good morning. Good morning. Lasagna said, pray for her, you guys. She's back in the office. And yes, Lasagna, I am bougie. Michelle, good morning. Listening all the way in from across the pond over in England, United Kingdom. Good to see you in the room this morning. So listen, there's a few things I need to check in with you about this morning. And before Rochelle, good morning, superstar. Good to see you in the room. I did not want to mention this yesterday. I was made aware in the morning, but oftentimes when folks transition in this age of social media, people are so quick to post, and often it doesn't give the family the opportunity, the immediate family, the opportunity to share with other family members and close friends that someone has transitioned. Good morning, Mama Java. Good to see you in the room. Okay. So Michelle, we need to go and break bread again. And so I needed to mention two folks that I found out transitioned yesterday. The first one being the great, wonderful, quiet storm, humble but wise, his grace, as we say in the church protocol world, of Bishop Roberto Miranda, who was the pastor of Lion de Judah, Lion of Judah, in the South End. And when I say that this man would come into a room and would speak, everybody would pay attention. And he was wise and he was humble, and definitely had the ear of mayors and elected officials, and just a good man. In that same vein, someone that hit a little closer to home that I've known since I was about 14, 15, and I'm now 50. And so the great the humble, another sort of silent giant, Nigel Harper, transitioned, I believe, on Sunday. And Nigel, I met Nigel as a teen. I was, again, about 14 at Grace Community Church at that time, on Southern Ave. I don't even think I think I'm pretty much sure him and Lori weren't even married yet when I met them, because I remember hearing about the wedding after meeting them. And Nigel was one of those silent storms that you did not have to wonder what he was thinking. Nigel was also another one that when he walked into a room, you knew it. And he was a brother that had a stature that you just knew not to mess with him. And if you really got to know him, you would let other folks know not to mess with him. And he was such a gracious man, owned a cleaning business and was very favorable, looked out and took care of my grandparents. Even when I moved out, he would go and pick up their clothes and just chat with them. Lori would sometimes talk to them as well. And so I just needed to name, I was aware yesterday, but we need to give the family time often to make the post and put the word out. And so though I put up a post yesterday, it was definitely after I spoke to Derek and Ty, and also Lori and I had exchanged inbox or I saw, rather, she posted and she responded to the post. 35 years. 35 years. And Nigel had some limitations due to some health issues with his physicality. And the thing that was so interesting about watching him deal with that was that in the changing or transition of this big, burly sort of guy that you knew not to mess with, he was always a good and humble dude. But we saw it more through text. We saw it more through inboxes. Nigel would wish me happy birthday, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, would check in, would often say, hey, I would love to be there, can't make it, and would just, hey, here's my new number. And I would always try to beat him. And a couple of times I won around Christmas and birthday, Father's Day as well. And in watching on social media, people from across the country that have been touched by Nigel's life have been posting and sharing similar stories. So to the Harper family, to Institutional Church of God in Christ, to Bishop Hezekiah Walker, to all the young people from back in the day in Brooklyn, to Uncle Butchie Hayward, to everyone that knew Nigel, to Bishop Dickerson and the Greater Love family, we definitely hold you up in prayer. To those from Tabernacle of Praise, where my mother is, there's a close affiliation there. We definitely just want to hold you up in prayer. You all send those hearts and praying hands for the Harper family, because I'm sure someone will let them know that we definitely pay tribute to him today. But we lost two giants in the kingdom and just transitioned to a different plane. And so I just needed to name that before I start going in to this wonderful list of things I need to share and just give some commentary and opinion with you about a few things that's going on in our community. And so I wanted to share that testimony about both of their lives with you before doing so. Let's go back in and see. I missed a couple of folks this morning. I got Mama Java, Michelle, Miss T, good morning. Good to see you in the room as always. Nikki, sister, good morning. Good to see you in the room. Who else did I see? Uncle Java, Thaddeus is in the room. Good to see you, sir. How is mother? Let us know, sir. And Asia said, and stop asking the family how. So that part. Tacky. Asia said tacky and selfish. If you're close enough to know, you'll be informed. Facts. Let me make sure I got everybody else. Shekinah, good morning. Good to see you in the room. Sister Leslie, good to see you in the room as well. And Charlotte, to you who knew them as well from greater love, keeping you and holding you guys up in prayer as well. And so I wanted to just check in with you. First of all, yesterday, it was more on Twitter and I shared it on Facebook. My testimony is that I have grown a lot. My mother and Thaddeus and some other folks know that, there was a time where, y'all see this Jimmy, but Jimmy was at one point in my life a reference name or point to, a ratchet mouth and just buck wild. Long story short, needed to get some things done with the car. I'm proactive because I don't like to wait. I don't like to wait, period. I hate waiting on anybody or anything. And so I called at about 3:00 and I said, hey, got to get tires looked at, about to go on the road. And I just want to make sure everything is good. And so the woman said, hey, if you get here before 5, you won't be there. You won't be here that long. Asked her name, pleasant conversation, got out there at 3:45, checked in about 3:50. Was originally told that it would take about 45 minutes. It's a mechanic. I didn't go back and bother them until about an hour. The way that this Pep Boys, who is the vendor, the way it works is you park your car out front, and then the way I've worked with them is, or the way I understand when my car is being serviced is it disappears and it's in the bay being serviced. 90 minutes, car didn't disappear. 2 hours, car didn't disappear. And at this point, I go over and check in and say, hey, I know you guys are busy. You said you were going to let me know what's going on. It's been about a half an hour. You didn't come check in. I'm just trying to get a sense of time so I can plan. And she was like, well, if you can't wait, you can take the keys. I've already invested the ride out there. I've already been there for 2 hours. I'm thinking that maybe within the next hour, hey, I just want to be safe as I'm traveling. And so at about 2.5 hours, a brother by the name of Jeff says, hey, what's your name? I say, it's James. He said, oh my God, they skipped your car. How do you skip a whole entire car? So he went to moving and got some things done, but it turned to 4 hours. 4 hours. And so when Jeff told me that, when I heard the word skip, I'm telling y'all, for about 3 to 4 seconds, I felt it. I stood up and I took a step and I was like, breathe. So I slowed down, I slowly approached the little counter there and I said, hey, it kind of concerned me when you said the word skip. I wonder how much that has played into the time now that I've been here. And it would behoove you all to ensure that this doesn't happen again. What system do you have in place? He goes into one of the other mechanics in the GTS and blah, blah, blah. And so I just need to tap myself on the shoulder for Testimony Tuesday and say I'm doing better. Now, the emails that went out. Wait, hold on. Look who's in the room, Cookie. And I was just talking about Nigel, Cookie. It's so good to see you in the room, sweetheart. And prayers and thoughts with you. Quincy Roberts is in the room as well. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you in the room. Our brother Stan is in the room, who had a birthday yesterday. Hopefully you were on and saw the birthday greetings we gave you. And so, yes, I wound up spending 4 hours out at Pep Boys. And then the type of program that I'm in with this car, I don't pay for. So let me tell y'all the good part. I'm in a program called Flex Car. Very weekly, cheap rate. It covers insurance, maintenance, and all of that. I'm not capping for them, and I've actually talked to them because they do need a local spokesperson and brand ambassador. I'm waiting on marketing to get back in touch with me, especially after this experience yesterday. Anyway, so when you go and take the car in, it goes in under a fleet service for all the cars. Pep Boys service this company, I guess, nationally. So they bought me in under that. They couldn't, so they had to at that time, it was about 6 o'clock, 6:30, where they had to submit approval to get a new tire. Well, Flex Car closes at 6, so they couldn't get an approval. I'm on the phone talking to Flex Car, find out that FlexCar is actually a sub company of Zipcar, because I'm on the phone talking with somebody from Zipcar that tells me he can't get in the FlexCar system. He sees the note, but he can't give approval. I'm getting on the road. I need to make sure that the tire's safe. So then he said, I was like, you know what? I'm going to pay for it out of pocket. I'll circle up with them in the back. He goes in and attempts, and Keys is in, and I shared this with her yesterday. He goes in and he can't charge me. The way the system is set up, he couldn't charge me. So though I waited for 4 hours and my patience was increased and I learned that I'm growing and I didn't go off, I also didn't have to pay for the tire, the labor, the tire, and all of that. And FlexCar hit me up this morning, apologetic and blah, 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 and all this other stuff. So anyway, that's the testimony. My mother just let me know today is my niece's birthday. I already hit her, but happy birthday to Yavi. So anyway, that's the testimony about that. So a couple of things we need to talk about. Listen, and I'm going to say this with balance. The majority of our parents, single, two-parent household, non-traditional family, traditional family, are doing their best, I believe, to raise their children in a manner that respects society and life. So my belief is it does start at home, the regard for life, manners, yes, sir, no, ma'am, thank you, things like that, being hospitable. Now, we also have to name that due to a lot of systemic issues, from the crack epidemic to putting our young men in jail to all the way back civil rights movement, they were putting checks in the house, but the fathers couldn't be there. There are a lot of systemic things that have caused our homes in some respect not to be conducive to doing our best with our young people. There's balance there. But here of late, our young people are caught up in situations where you have 11 and 12-year-olds robbing senior citizens in downtown. You have two elderly men, 169, I believe 147, that was robbed at Charlotte Station yesterday. The young people, the teens, as per the news report, asked for money. They didn't have cash, and they assaulted them. I saw a post on Facebook. I haven't verified this, but because the person is a senior, if they catch the teen, they could be charged on a federal level because it's a senior citizen. There's that. Downtown, there's the young people that were caught with guns at Charlestown High School. There's a fight that broke out at Charlestown High School the day after with older teens and younger teens. The mayor had to drop her schedule, and she made it up to Charlestown to talk with them. There's also this side note I need to talk about soon, because we need to be able to figure out a way to protect our students, them not be treated by law enforcement and sharing information and data with ICE. And at the same time, our young people and teachers need to be protected. And you can't have students pouring scalding hot water on a teacher, and the school's not going to call 911. The teacher had to take herself to the hospital, because my understanding is there's a missive that went out from BPS that they're not to call 911. And I get the whole piece around police reform. We can reform and keep everybody safe at the same damn time. Let me back up. So there's this narrative that even these Nazi folks that showed up at the St. Patty's Day parade with their Nazi and white supremacist sign. And the funny thing about them is they're always masked up and they won't reveal who they are. Are you ashamed about being a white supremacist? Are you afraid that you'll be targeted? I wonder. And so, but the scary thing is, in response to what happened in downtown with the 11 and pre-teens and tweens and all of that, they put out a flyer talking about, if you need protection, and we're here to protect you because these incidents are going on. Now, will they take the red line all the way up to Sharma and Dorchester? I'm not sure. But then we have another incident that happened, and there's been incidents at Revere Beach. And do some of our young people go out from to Revere Beach? Probably so. But there was an incident this week on Carson Beach. There was an article I posted that one young woman talked about, this isn't the South Boston that she knows. And according to the pictures that I seen from the news, a lot of the melee, there was a fight at Carson Beach, a whole bunch of young people, and the way the state troopers responded, and what I'm seeing on Twitter, language, and I put a post up, language about I'm still mad at integration anyway, and a whole bunch of racist just statements. Here's where my concern is. Parents, you need to talk to your children, because one or two things are going to happen. They're going to roll up on the wrong person, and God forbid, they may be taught a lesson that will cause them never, ever to try to rob somebody again. They may roll up on one of these supremacist folks as a, let me listen. They may plant somebody that look elderly and all that other stuff. And you know, teens may go try to talk to them. Excuse me. Y'all know I'm talking a lot. I'm going to cut to the chase. We don't want our young people, one, participating in this negative behavior. Two, as a result of the negative behavior, we don't want them to wind up being assaulted, even though they're assaulting others. I said the first point was we don't want them to be involved in these situations. If your child is 16, 17 and under, I would think that you need to try to have an account for where they are and what they're doing. I don't know. Maybe I'm old school. If you're paying for the damn cell phone, go in and activate the GPS so you can figure out where they are. Parents in general need to continue. Let me back up. Need to continue parenting as best as they can. And those that aren't, I've seen some commentary on my post. And those that aren't, you need to do better. Because if you don't parent your child, somebody will. Either it's going to be the police, one of these white supremacists, the wrong one, DYS, or Department of Correction. And at very worst case scenario, the mortician. Somebody's going to parent your baby if you don't. I'm very, very concerned with the language of these news stories, even as far as this news story that's going on with the ex-football player getting into it with the guy at the airport. There's a whole video and memes, and Black Twitter blew up around it from what I could see on the news. In the news narrative, they're not showing the whole video. They had a few like swings and they both missed, but the flight, the worker who has since been terminated per the news, clapped that ex-football player lovely. It connected, you heard it, but then the football player was like, wait. The football player hit him so bad that he knocked him over the counter or on the side of the counter, and he fell on the belt that takes the luggage to the plane. I correlate the narrative around Carson Beach, Revere Beach, the robbing downtown and the robbing at Shawmut with the narrative that the media, because the news this morning didn't show the part where the flight attendant hit the man. They're only showing the ex-football player or the, now he's in Canada from what I understand, the Canadian football player that used to play for the Denver Broncos back in the day. They only show him hitting the man to where he fell on the belt. So there's a narrative that's being created that is empowering the emboldened racist that's already felt empowered since he who used to occupy the White House 45 has been talking his crap. We in Boston, and I know I used to post when I would see the mega hats and when I would see people, you know, supporting Trump in Fields Corner right down the street. This white supremacist crap is right here at our back door. And God forbid, God forbid if something happens to one of our young people. As I said before, we got to do our best, one, for them not to be in a situation where they're doing that. And two, God forbid, if they do participate, we don't want them to get hurt, to be jumped, to be made an example of. And with these groups, you don't want to give the state police a reason to come in with riot gear. And will they start going back and using spray they've been using the pepper spray and then the thing, the electrical thing, what's it called, the stun gun, is it stun gun? I'm very, very concerned. And so, James, what are you doing beyond concern? I'm trying to bring this up to you all and put it out there that we got to be careful I also have been attempting to work with entities that can have some influence on some of these issues. Now, the city can have all of the programming in the world available. You can't make them go. And the city is not responsible for training your children in how to interact in the public at an event. Young people go to parties and beach and group gatherings all the time without issues. But attention is being given to this one issue. And we got to be careful, because what the police and law enforcement are doing is they're using these incidents in order to create a narrative that we need more police. And then they use these incidents and the unions get empowered and they go after the elected officials like City Council Kendra Laura, who's talking about the fact that there's not enough police that's making all this overtime to handle traffic details. So she's proposing you do civilian red flags. You get them trained and they're the ones that deal with the traffic. And it creates, I think, over 700 jobs from what she's proposed. There's a whole thread going on around her about her, because I seen a screenshot where someone from the police union is talking about she's trying to take what belongs to us in our livelihood. First of all, y'all don't have enough manpower. Second of all, it creates a lower budgeted position because they're not police racking up all that. It's Testimony Tuesday, y'all. There's a couple of things I need to cover, and then I'm getting off of here. It's 9:30. Oh, Jesus. What was the other thing? Because I took notes. There was a stabbing between two females right down the street this morning at Morton and Blue. Understanding there was an argument in the mobile station and they took 3 people away. The footage is scary because these women, and I don't know if a child was in the car, but the footage we saw on the news this morning was a car seat. I understand a woman's been arrested. I believe 2 or 3 went to the hospital. Getting into an altercation, yes. But once you see a child, like, so there's that incident. What else? I got a couple other things on here. Our Boston public schools, they got to figure something out in order. And I know there are people trying to work on this, but I get the police reform. The calls I got the last couple of days about what's going on in BPS, I got a whole long thread with videos and emails to school staff and pictures and phone calls from some folks in BPD. And now, let's own. Will that alarm some folks because I said phone calls from some folks in BPD? But I also got this thread from a parent. And what I'm interpreting is that with the reform that came around not having police in school, this is James's words, not what they said. Incidents where the police or school police could be helpful in disarming. The young people know police aren't in the school. So are they more likely to either, as in Charlestown, try to bring guns and knives and other things to school? Probably, because these young people are not stupid and they're young people. They'll take chances. So with that knowledge, some of these young people are going buck wild, jumping in school, fighting, bringing guns, and there's allegations of all type of sexual misconduct. We got a whole damn high school that had to be closed down because of, I don't know all the details. I wasn't there. But the narrative that I've seen is that there have been so many incidents there that they're choosing to close the school rather than properly respond. Properly is a strong word. Rather than responding in a manner there where young people feel safe and teachers feel safe. So BPS okay, so right now, our mayor is up at the State House or McCormick Building, I believe, about to testify around the fact of, I guess, not having BPS go into receivership. That report, the snippet, I haven't seen it. I don't know if they're going to publish it or if it's published, but some of the snippets, and again, we have to understand that the media introduces a narrative. They talked about busing. You all right here in this thread for the past year, almost 2 years, have named that your child hasn't been picked up. You've been late. You couldn't go to work because of a busing issue. They talked about equity for those that have IEPs and second English as a second language. So BPS has a lot of work to do. And what they noted is because all of the changes at the helm, we're now getting ready to get another superintendent. So I just, and there were some good notes. BPS adopted the state's recommended high school curriculum. What was one of the other things? I heard good notes as well from the report. I haven't seen it, but the synopsis that I heard so far, things are interesting. So BPS has a lot of work to do, but we also have a lot of work to do too, as far as from home. But then not calling 911 when someone has scalding water poured over their head. Not calling 911 when a mother, I believe, I shared the story where a mother was trying to tell the nurse that she believed, or the son believed, that he was having an active stroke. And 911 isn't first of all, 911 does more than police. It's the ambulance too. And I get the reform. And I understand that BPS and BPD was sharing information with, BPD, I don't know about BPS, but they were sharing information with ICE. I get that. And that's not right. But something needs to be figured out. Do I have the answer? No. But I'm trying to create and curate conversation. So when these things come up, when hearings are posted that we attend, and also bringing attention to the fact that we're going to have to raise our voice as a community, but morally as the parents. But it needs to be led by those. Let me just park right here for a minute. And I'll just speak for myself. Counting my peer education years, I got 40 years in. I'm tired. A lot of us that move in this space constantly and take on issues and get the phone calls, we are being overtaxed, stressed out. For me, you don't hear these things, you hang up the phone and you go about your business. All of the systemic things that come with it, all of the what ifs, all of the fact that I'm perceived as having proximity and to power with I'm not going to go there. See, I still have some control and demeanor. I'm getting ready to get off of here, you all. And Heidi, where's it at? I just seen it. Lives are at stake. Someone said to me today, hopefully that the administration gets it together and gets it together quickly. I agree. But between getting it together, and let me say this is not so much about an individual. Where the individual and the personality and the person comes in at is when we believe that there is going to be, this is probably Flex Car. Hold on. Just 1 second, just in case. Hello? Yes, this is. And I'm currently, I just shared on my show about my experience with you all. Can you call me back in about 10 minutes and we can converse about what happened yesterday? I'm currently live. Okay, thank you. All right, thank you. That was Flex Car wanted to talk about yesterday. I knew it was them. Just tell by the number. Listen, Heidi makes it absolutely right. It needs to be parent-led. Will the activists and the organizers back them up? I don't have no children in BPS. I care. But yeah. But Heidi, there's another point to this. We have 13 city councilors, 9 of which are district and 4 of which are at-large. The at-large ones, believably, would be the ones that are up on all the issues. In full transparency, in reference to BPS and BPD, I talked to City Councilor Julie Mejia, and I talked to City Councilor Kendra Hicks Lara. They're both going to come on and talk about this issue. And I've also talked to a representative from the police, Brother Larry Ellison. And so we're going to have, but I also inboxed with the family and had a text with someone close to me that had an issue, and it is one school, 2 issues that I'm aware of. There's a lot going on with our young people, and we need to, first of all my preachers and parents and mamas and mothers board that's in the room, y'all need to cover these young people. Pray for wisdom for our elected officials. Pray for strength and wisdom and encouragement for our parents. There's so much going on in the world. A good majority of our parents are just trying to survive. And it's hard for them to thrive and keep that thumb, as I mentioned, on their young people because maybe they're working 2 or 3 jobs. That has to be taken into consideration as well. But that's probably lesser than, and someone put a post up today that some of our parents, unfortunately, co-sign, model some of the behavior that our young people are demonstrating in these crazy, chaotic situations. That's an unfortunate reality. It is what it is. Let me, a couple of other things. Oh, wow. I covered everything. I'm good. Okay. The only other thing I really didn't cover was that Memorial Day weekend is this weekend. Is it? Yes, it is. And typically, there is some awareness of what the city's plan is to work with. I've been saying very intentionally, not just the city's plan, but the city's plan to work with the community to prevent, intervene, and in the worst case scenario, respond to violence. Today's Tuesday. Now, we all know that the mayor was scheduled to come on tomorrow at 12 noon. We had to move her time. It's the mayor. Can be flexible. Trying to stick to 4th Wednesdays. We need to know Wednesdays with Woo. Got an email on Monday. There's a conflict. The mayor won't make it. Reached out. I'm like, yo, this was only the second one. Like, are y'all canceling the series? I was told by Chief Pierre, no, it was just a conflict. And she wasn't aware of the conflict at the time. And so we did get them dates for the remaining of May. But I also said, if May doesn't work, let's just skip it. And can we confirm the 4th Wednesday in June? So I was hoping that tomorrow at noon, we would have been able to chat with the mayor around what they're working on. I know they're having internal meetings. I know that they're working on it. And my understanding is there's supposed to be a press conference this week in reference to what the summer plan is around violence prevention. That was the only thing I didn't cover. I'm getting ready to get off of here, you guys. Let me just go and check the comments. Thaddeus. It sounding white, Lord Jesus. It's both end. Balance. There are parents that have done the best that they can do, and they can't always 24/7 have a camera on and ping them when they're getting ready to do something. But there is a portion of it. Thaddeus, come on, you know. Dina said, I think so much of the parents are doing the best they can at some point. Some of these kids have so much going on and make their own choices to do wrong. Some of these kids need mental health counseling and they are not getting it. It's really hard. I don't have the answers, just some suggestions. Absolutely. That's the balance. I'm not talking about throwing the baby out. No way near. But can we all improve in what we do to foster better community and quality of life? Hell yes, all of us. Got space to got a canyon, not room, got a canyon for improvement. All right. I'm getting ready to get off of here. Here's one of our youth workers, one of my old young people that's now an impactful youth worker. These days, grandmothers are at the club, mothers are with boyfriends, and children are stuck in the metaverse, being parented by demonic entities, making them insensitive and desensitized to reality. Accountability and parenting priorities are completely out of order. That's another perspective. And so Thaddeus's perspective about, just blaming parents, which I'm not. And y'all know Thaddeus also makes comments just to drive more conversation as well. But I want to be very clear that there has to be balance with holding parents accountable. And in my post, I said parents and youth accountability. Now, some of us are old and still make bad decisions. Are these young people in their second tier, end of the second stage, or the second time their frontal lobe goes through development? Yes. But regard for life and assaulting a senior or a female, it could just be our rearing in old school. As Dina said, I don't have all the answers. My thing is right now curating and creating these conversations, because as Professor Cuff Ferguson taught us some years ago. We are currently reconstructing society as we're having this conversation, as folks are making comments. It's causing us to think differently, but also for mobilization. So when parents hear about hearings, or if you hear about a hearing, share it with the parent. Or if you see a parent that's struggling with the child, maybe, you know, resources that we share from time to time, rather, share them with them. Mental health is, I'm seeing a theme around mental health is a part of it. Absolutely. Heidi said, I know parents were strict, but I did what I was brave enough or pressured to do. And that's so along with parents parenting, we do need to have the same sensitivity to that they're young people. The intensity around my warning to parents is because I am afraid that if things continue the way that they're going, one of these stories that we share about the young people got away and they're looking for them, and if you know something, I'm very concerned that may change, that in response to a alleged assault, such and such teen was blank, blank, blank. So just so we're clear on that. Dina said a lot of it is breaking the cycle, but when the adult doesn't see that there's a cycle, then how do you help? Again, I don't have the answer. It's the conversation, and conversations do contribute to answers. Who knows who from the city or wherever's trolling today and hears something and go back and incorporate it into what they're proposing. I don't know. All right, I'm going to get ready to go, everyone. We will be on tomorrow with folks from the Coalition for a More Inclusive and Diverse Waterfront at 9 a.m. Next couple of days, if don't plan to hear from me, if there is an urgent emergency, contact Mama Java, and she'll know how to reach me. Otherwise, we'll definitely see you guys tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. and I'll be back solo on Thursday. And have a wonderful Tuesday, everyone. And please just let me reiterate the fact that anything that I've said this morning that sounds like a judgment statement, for those of you that don't know me, I'm very passionate about our young people and community. And so hopefully I was able to clarify the stance and the context in which I said some things that you may have to wonder where I'm coming from. And for those of you that know me, you know me. So with that being said, have a wonderful Tuesday, everybody. I didn't get to all of the comments, and I'll be here for a little while later. And I will be Rob. Let me see what Rob is saying. I actually feel like some of this new generation male parents are better than more connected than my generation was, Tay and Dell. But I feel the failure started with the way we patented these parents. Got a good point there, Rob. Got a good point. All right, folks, there goes the keys. Cookie's the last one. Truth be told, some of the people in positions of power are helping to put the systems in place and drive narratives and influence some of these things. That part. All right, I'm going because I'll be here for a while. Stan, I'll check in with you closer to the end of the week because I am off this, y'all. I need some downtime and I'm taking advantage of it. Y'all have a wonderful day. We'll talk with you soon. Peace.